What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video where today, since I finished the unused content of Plants and Zombies, I'm gonna switch over to just making a rerun of all the other previous videos. There's some fixes, mostly just like one, but that's about it. I added a new entry in the original Plants and Zombies, and I'll see you guys next time. See you guys. First off, there is an extended animation for the Gravebusters planting animation with just an extra bounce. Next are animations of Squash transitioning from his looking pose to his idle pose. Next is an unused non-active version of Magnetshroom active idle animation. Next there is an extended version of Magnetshroom stealing an object from a zombie that they're being in transition going in and out of its idle animation. This version of the animation has it going back to its default pose, which means that there might be a link between the last unused animation and this one. Next is an unused animation for the dancing zombie exiting their pointing pose. And finally, there's an animation of the snorkel zombie opening his mouth to eat a brain in the Zombiquarium minigame. Next up is the catapult zombie, which has some slight unused animations that are not seen ever because of the catapult machine. And then finally, unused swinging animation for the balloon zombie. And that's it for this section. So there's a different version of Watery Graves that goes unused. Offsets 117 to 120 go unused. They sound so similar to Offset 103, except it lacks the closing drum and there are a few notes that are different. In iZombie, there are two zombies that end up going unused and can't be placed down normally, those being Pogo Zombie and the Zomboni. Despite them going unused, they are completely functional and even have their own seed packet. Strangely enough, the Pogo Zombie will not eat the brain at the end and instead just jump over it, while the Zomboni has the front end of its car appear cut off. Finally, the Cabbage Pole may have been planned for iZombie also. Using some hacking, you can get Cabbage Pole back in iZombie, and it just appears like all the other cardboard cutouts of plants, which suggests that it was planned to be an iZombie, but you can never get Cabbage Pole randomly in iZombie. There's an unused 6th level in the game, but there's not much left of it. The only sub-level present in 6-1, which is just a duplicate of 5-9, but with a daytime theme, because the theme the game tries to use is not in the game anymore. All other World 6 levels will just copy 6-1, as the game is just reading from the garbage data. Level 6 was originally going to be a night roof, just like the one that Dr. Zombus is in, but it's the only nighttime roof in the game. In the December 2nd, 2008 prototype in the level is present with more content that is left over. However, it uses an elevated backyard theme that is crudely drawn from even the earlier point in development. They may have kept this crudely drawn elevated backyard theme to reuse it from the night roof before the idea was just scrapped entirely. Something interesting that is worth noting is that the background graphic for 5-10 is named Background 6 Boss. The day roof background used for level 5 is named background 5.png. While it may just be a quirk in the naming, the unused minigames Unsodded, which I will cover later, background name is background 1 Unsodded.png, whereas the normal background for World 1 is named background 1. This implies that there may have been some background 6.png at one point. This was confirmed in the same prototype that I mentioned earlier. Once again, it depicts a crude mock-up of the elevated backyard theme, and there's a file present named Background 6 Game Over Mask, which is used as the game over screen. It is unknown why Background6.png and Background6boss.png were made separate. First off is probably the most famous, which is the Disco Zombie change. Originally, the Disco Zombie was based off Michael Jackson in his music video for his song Thriller, but for obvious reasons, PopCap later changed it to the modern-day Disco Zombie, which, to me, kind of looks like Disco Stew from The Simpsons. Also, the backup dancers were based off the backup dancers in Thriller. The description was originally, any resemblance between Dancing Zombie and persons living or dead is purely coincidental. Despite the original Disco Zombie being removed, he is actually still in the files. The Zomboni description was for some reason also changed, from often mistaken for a driving an ice machine. The Zomboni is a completely different life form, more closely related to a space ogre than a zombie. 2. Not to be mistaken for a Zamboni, brand ice resurfacing machine. Zamboni and the image of the ice resurfacing machine are registered trademarks of Frank J. Zamboni and Company, Incorporated. And Zamboni is used with permission. For all your non-zombie related ice resurfacing needs, visit www.zamboni.com. Next up, the adventure button was slightly changed. And finally, the Gotti edition had a Zombatar and an achievement system. Also, the internal project name was Lawn, probably when it was named Lawn of the Dead. And it was that way until version 0.96, where it was changed to Zombotany. Whether or not the name change used during revision is unknown. However, early versions may have used the codename Fish, which is also Insane Aquarium's internal name. These strings of text would have likely showed up during the gameplay and were meant to be shown to the player. First off, we got some unused zombie almanac entries. Dog Walking Zombie, which is the Dog Walking Zombie. Dog Zombie, which is Dog Zombie. And Propeller Zombie, which is Propeller Zombie, which were all featured in the prototype that I will not be covering. Dog Walking Zombie description, Dog Zombie description, Dog Walking Zombie description, Dog Zombie description, Propeller Zombie description, placeholder description text for cut zombies. And then there's some unused advice messages. Advice Scary Potter tutorial. Put more vases on your lawn. Advice Shovel refresh. Your shovel needs time to refresh before digging again. In the final game, the shovel can always be used instantly and never needs to be refreshed. This feature may have been cut earlier on in one of the prototypes because the game that was too hard. So they had to make the game easier. More vases incoming. Streak of 3 vases cleared. These lines were probably used in level 4-5 in Vase Breaker before Crazy Dave's proper dialogue was implemented. Advice iZombie, plants not real. Do not be alarmed. Plants are not real. This text was probably used in iZombie puzzles before Crazy Dave's proper instructions were implemented. This is leftovers from the Cut Squirrel minigame. More squirrel to go. Advice Squirrel 1 left count. More squirrel to go. Advice Squirrel left count. More squirrels to go. Advice Squirrel Zombie. Oh no! Find all the squirrels before the zombies make it to your house. Advice Fill in walnuts. Fill in all the outlined spaces with walnuts. Seed chooser art walnut warning. Are you sure you want to play this level without walnuts? Which is left over from the cut art challenge walnut minigame. Advice Fill in spaces. Fill in all the outlined spaces. Seed chooser art 2 warning. Are you sure you want to play this level without starfruit, umbrella leaf, and walnut seeds, which is cut from the art challenge sunflower minigame. Unused unlock messages. Unlock survival mode. Survival mode unlocked. Play from the main menu. This suggests that survival mode was once unlocked from a present, like some other game modes. It's not unlocked from a present in the final game, so this text now goes unused. Mysterious vase. You found a mysterious vase. Now you can play Vase Baker mode. In the final game, unblocking puzzle mode also unlocks iZombie and Vase Breaker mode. You have defeated the boss zombie. Congratulations, you have most triumphantly fended off the zombie attack. Your lawn is safe. For now. This message was used in a pre-Gotti version, but became unused in the Gotti version. But you beat the final boss. The end achievement unlocked. The achievements unlocked screen will appear, but this message is not displayed. Do you wish to replay level 3-4? Shown when the demo is complete, as it ends on 3-4. Full version only, for a version early only. This item is only available in the full version. Text for features that are only available in the full version. Get full version. Would you like to purchase the full version? Get full version. Maybe later. A prompt asking the player if they would like to purchase the full version of Plants vs. Zombies. Warning. Maybe a placeholder. More seeds? Would you like to be able to plant more kinds of seeds? These lines are probably used to the player to increase the amount of seed slots before crazy days of dialogue was introduced later on. Warning! Another warning, but this time related to the Zombitar feature for some reason. Vase Baker Face Breaker. An unused Vase Breaker level, nice. Limbo page. Button for the limbo page, yeah. Squirrels. Left over from the cut squirrel minigame. iZombie, a duplicate string from the iZombie title, which indicates that iZombie may have once been a minigame instead of its own puzzle mode. iZombie 2, an early name of iZombie 2. Can you dig it? Grave Digger, Danger, Dark Stormy Night, Air Raid, Bungee Blitz, Art Challenge Walnut, Sunny Day, Unsodded, Big Time, Art Challenge Sunflower, Ice Level, High Gravity, Squirrel, Upsell, and Intro, or names of cut minigames that appear on the Limbo page. Survival Day Endless, Survival Night Endless, Survival Fog Endless, Survival Roof Endless. These will all be covered later on. Build specific. These strings might have shown up in the corner of the main menu for partner and beta builds. Press partner preview builds. Do not distribute. Beta build, do not distribute. Text displayed to the menu to identify partner and beta builds. There are some debug strings associated. These strings are associated with debugging in the game's development and were likely never meant to show up in the final game. Free planting cheat, which appears to be related to a planting cheat, granting the ability for the player to plant anything, including upgraded plants near anywhere, depending on the levels. No cooldown, just like they're cheating in the final game. The string can only be proper loaded on the Steam Gotti release using a memory editor to change the function at one of the strings with one that does nothing. Doing that, however, doesn't activate it. Trying it on other releases makes the game display the string ID. In C%D, F%S, C%D, F%D to %D, F%D to %D, F%D, F%D, %D to %D, %D, okay, invalid level, do number or area sub area, or C number, or Faria sub area. Enter level, which is related to a level selection sheet. Text is partially removed from retail builds or the game of the game's executable. C is challenge, name, F is finished adventure. And debug play, related to hidden button, choosing random season selection, present in game executable. Next up, we got some unused graphics. First off is a sprite for Gravebuster named Facefind, so it may have appeared on Gravebuster's face. Next up is a stage of degradation for the Spikeweed, which is also pretty famous. It never degrades in the final game. Next is a sprite for Seashroom's eyes. This goes unused because in the final game the eyes are part of the final design. Next is an unused eyebrow for Starfruit, which can be seen in Seeing Stars, and that's it. Next is some unused sprites for Coffee Bean's eyelid. Next is an unused sprite for Gatling Pea, which has a camo hat. Looks a little bit different. Next is an unused exhaust for the cob cannon. There is also an unused potato mine body without shading. There is an unused coffee bean body without brighter lighting than the final. Next up is an earlier version of Flag Zombie's flag that was used in Bloom and Doom's build. There is an earlier version of Zomboni without the Z. Next is the helmet and the zombie bobsled team, which would have worn it, and it was pretty good, to be honest. There's a sprite for the Jack-in-a-Box zombie eye twitching, which is used in the Bloom and Doom prototype, where the head sprite is different. Also, there's an unused belt from the Jack-in-a-Box zombie. Next up is a scared-looking bungee zombie, which may have been used when he gets lunged back up by the Umbrella Leaf. There was an unused helmet that was supposed to be used for the Gargantuar. It may have even been for an early version of the Giga Gargantuar. And in my opinion, it would have made the Giga Gargantuar scarier and also way cooler looking. Gotta be honest, I am sad that this goes unused, because the Gargantuar could have been a lot more threatening looking. But also, it looks sick, and I love it. I really wish that did not go unused. That's sad. There's an unused variation of the RV Dr. Zombus threw at the plants. Next is an earlier, more organic-looking version of Dr. Zombus's Zomba leg. Next in the Files of the Gotti edition has the baseball player zombie sprites that appeared in the console versions, but since there is no multiplayer in the PC version. Next is an unused hair sprite for a zombie. Next up is an unused zombie base, which would have produced zombies, which only comes out of regular mystery faces in the final game. However, in PZ2, it is used in summons the Gargantuar. Next are 3 different signs. The first one says says Vase Breaker, which is used in the puzzle section. Next is an early version of the survival that originally was on top of the grave. And the third sign that says Challenges, which is another version of the minigame option, which was proven in the Bloom and Doom prototype. A store item named PVZ goes unused. This was used in a free trial that was on PopCap's website and can be found in Crazy Dave's shop. Clicking on it will bring the player to the page where they can buy the full game. Next up is an unused coin that has a brain instead of a zombie head. There's an earlier version of Daytime Lawn, specifically the gates and the shadow in the background. Next up is an earlier version of the diamond, which is seen in the slot machines minigame, but the sprite individually is never seen. There's an unused icon for the Bungie Blitz minigame, which I will cover later. And the file named unused in the Gotti edition are earlier version of the template used in the Zombatar feature. Now I'm going to go rapid fire because the next few are just crude sprites without much description. There's a lily pad, there's a tonut, there's a doom shroom, there's a pea shooter head, there's a cabbage that is launched by cabbage pole, there's a squash, there's a walnut, there's a puff shroom, there's a fume shroom, there's a cactus, and there's an early mock-up of the cursors used in Zengar. Alright, now with that out of the way, let's get back on. There's an early version of the more ways to play menu, which does not appear at all in the PC version, nor does it feature in the quick play mode. Next, there is a screenshot of an unused shop page, which has all the upgraded plants there. Next, there is some stuff in the Insane Aquarium Deluxe. Next, there is a leftover sprite named the Battle Tank Button. There are some leftover sprites named Checked. Leftover from Alphas of the Breeder, which is actually the hungry version instead of the normal ones. Next, there are some sprites of Vert, which is an unlockable pet from Insane Aquarium Deluxe. In the final game, its only appearance of the character from Insane Aquarium Deluxe is Stinky the Snail in the Zen Garden. Lastly, for the unused sprites, or sprites that have some parts of them obscured. The sprites of the cat tail's head cannot be fully seen due to the hat, the umbrella leaves body without the leaves. There is some skin on Crazy Dave's legs sprite, but they cannot be seen by normal means. They can be seen for a few frames though, which when he is taken by the bungee, but that is extremely hard to see because it only lasts a few frames. The Zomboni has a boa under the hat. The Gatling P has a full head under the helmet. The Imitator's full body without the hat he wears. The Gargantuar sprites has a severed area around the head, which suggests that the Gargantuar's head might have fallen off, just like the normal zombies. But while this never happens in the game, the sequel does reuse this idea. There is also the Zombot, also has some obscured part that you can't really see actually in game. And Pumpkin also has some unused stages, just like the Spikeweed. So there's an unused menu that is named the Limbo Page. The Limbo Page has 17 unused minigames and survival endless levels. Now let's cover all the minigames and survival endless levels. The first minigame is Art Challenge Walnut, which is similar to the Seeing Stars minigame, which goes used, but this goes unused. There are eyes which you can't place anything on, but you can't see it in the final game. The eyes did exist, though, in the Bloom and Doom prototype, but I can't prove it because whenever I try to load up the game, it just says can't find base.dll. Next up is Sunny Day, which Sunny Day spawns big suns out of the sky, which gives 50 sun per big sun. Next up is Unsodded, where zombies can spawn in all 5 lanes, but you can only plant in 3 lanes. So you need plants like Gloomshroom and 3-Peter to be even able to hit those zombies. Also, if you ever want to play an endless version of Unsodded for some reason, then you just have to rename Unsodded to the same name as the Survival Endless save. And now you can play Unsodded Survival Endlessly. Next up is Big Time, which just increases the size of 3 plants, those being Sunflower, Walnut, and Marigold. Sunflower and Marigold drop 2 of what they produce, while the Walnut has higher health. Also, the Big Nuts do not use the same graphic as the one in Walnut Bulk 2. Next up is Art Challenge Sunflower, which is just Art Challenge Walnut again, but instead of needing just 1 plant, you need Starfruit and Umbrella Leaf. Air Raid is a very easy level, which is just a bunch of balloon zombies and some basic zombies. This is different from the DS version of Air Raid. Next up is a now empty level named Ice Level. There is nothing. But in earlier versions of the game, rather than just being a plain grass level with no zombies and no sun, there was actually not much still. Just 4 basic zombies and a conehead with wind playing in the background. But it's still a lot more interesting than what we got now. The point of Ice Level was just an April Fool's joke, and it was eventually moved to the Limbo Page. Ice Level has also led to the existence of the Zombie Yeti. The level also contains a stock image of icebergs in the background, and there's just some wind as the music. Next up is Zen Garden, which just crashes the game. High Gravity is up next, and this is difficult because of the high gravity itself. The only way to actually beat this level is to use Fume Shrimp, because your fumes are not affected by the high gravity, making it possible to actually hit the zombies, that instead of just being one tile right in front of you. Great Danger just has more graves than usual. Can You Dig It is next, and unlike the iZombie minigame, there is a lawn full of walnuts, which you have to dig up and to place the pea shooters to fend off the zombies. Dark Stormy Night is just 4-10. Next up is Bungee Blitz, which is like 5-5, but it's harder. This is also the only Limbo minigame to actually use a unique icon, except for Dark Stormy Night, but I would not consider a black screen a unique icon. Because of the Bungee Blitz unique icon, it may have been scrapped much later into development. Next up is Intro. It just replaced the intro cutscene, but with some hacking, you can actually play this level, which is named 1-0. But will crash the game when the final wave comes, because the game attempts to load the Dog Walker zombie, but because it does not exist anymore, the game will just crash. If you do somehow figure out how to beat the level, it will give you a seed pea shooter packet, and then start 1-1 normal. Next up is Tree of Wisdom, which just takes you to a Tree of Wisdom. It also appears that there was supposed to be more than a pool endless, because every single one would have also a survival level, including grass lawn, nighttime grass lawn, fog with pool, and then the roof. And next for the Limbo Page is Upsell. I ended the last video with this cutscene, but I edited it to fit with the video. This was originally used in a demo version of Plants vs. Zombies when you reach 3-4. And in fact, you can click on buy full version. A pop-up will appear which will lead you to the Steam page for Plants vs. Zombies to get the full version. And finally, for the Limbo page is Squirrel. But because the squirrel graphic does not exist anymore, the squirrels are invisible. The goal is to find all the squirrels before the zombies reach your house. Now, while you can't see this in the Limbo page, it's because the button for intro is obscuring it, meaning you have to use alternative ways to access this level. Now that the PC version is done, let's talk about the console. The console versions were on the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and the PlayStation Vita. Every background in the console version was remade, and also has resolution was increased to fit in the console versions. First off is the daytime lawn. The lawn was expanded, which also shows more of the house in the PC version. The lighting of the area was also changed a little bit, and blank area in the console version was made for the bushes, and also the road was completely redone in the console versions. While the night version of the daytime lawn has most of the same changes as the daytime lawn, there are some new changes, like the fence shadow being removed for obvious reasons, and the lines being smoothed out. Next up is the pool level. The pool level has the fence torn down, so the bushes could be there. The roof was changed from the front lawn zombie. Some clouds and the toy duck on the sidewalk mistakenly having the white of its eyes was removed. The fog level has the same differences as the pool level, but the door is always left open. The roof theme has the most differences, but most of them are minor. The most notable change is the background, which has changed quite a bit, but that's about the biggest change. The satellite dish was moved slightly, there was a different window, and there's some dirt in the gutters, and also the ladder on the right was replaced with a gutter. The only difference about this Zen garden is it being expanded with a garden hose, a water bucket, and some pots, and also a shovel. The mushroom garden has a little bit different of a background, and some shading on the mushrooms were changed. And finally, in the aquarium garden, there is not any differences at all. First off, there's a leftover mouse cursor from the PopCap games. Next, there's an unused zombie face from the PC version. There's some leftovers for the original dancing zombie and the digger zombie. And finally is the Versus Stone. This also has a bow tie mouth, lid, and /breaking.png. Alright, so how this is going to work is the original English text is what's in there, and in English Xbox 360 is what shows up in the 360 version. Plant these into your kernel poles to turn them into cob cannons. Click on the cob cannon to launch a deadly attack. Plant these on your kernel poles to turn them into cob cannons. Press A on the cob cannon to launch a deadly attack. Main menu, exit game. Click to view. There's nothing there. Press A on the vase to see what's inside. Press X on the vase to see what's inside. Feed chocolate, insert text, and just feed chocolate. Defend your rifle zombie property against schools. Defend your rifle property against zombies. Use friendship against zombies. Defend your rifle property against zombies. Have you achieved anything? Find out. There's nothing once again. Seek succor or alter your experience. Help and options. Use Microsoft points, Microsoft copyright points, for full Thieves' tastiness and unlock full game. Leave this game and its pleasures. Return to game library. Your player profile is out of date and didn't load properly. Would you like to try loading it again? The device your profile is stored on has been removed or does not have enough free space. Would you like to try to load your profile again? Not logged in? Not connected? You must be logged in to Xbox Live to view your friends' houses. You must be connected to Xbox Live to view your friends' houses. You must be logged in to Xbox Live and view the endless leaderboard. You must be connected to Xbox Live to view the endless leaderboard. Your player profile is not saved properly. Would you like to try saving it again? Your profile picture was not saved properly. Would you like to try to save it again? Player 2, press S to join. Player 2, press S to join. X unlock full version. X unlock full game. X marketplace. X Xbox Live marketplace. Go to Tree of Wisdom, where there's a typo in go to, and then go to Tree of Wisdom without the typo. Help and options with an and a help and options with a ampersand. For the Xbox 360, raw textures we used in this is the first time to use a pre-rendered video for the logo. For the PlayStation Vita, the pre-rendered PopCap logo is different. Adjusted lucky spin requirements when the achievement is given when the player gets 3 of a kind with any resource, and finally a couple strings are slightly altered. Touch enabled, enable touch controls. Achievement 32 lucky spin description. Get 3 diamonds in slot machine, or get 3 of a kind in slot machine. The Zombatar delete query text string was added saying delete. Now to finish off the video, there is an iOS and Android versions, which might be the longest section, besides the first one, which you already covered in the last video, except for the limbo page, which covered this video. For some reason, the melon pole lacks eyebrows in it on the seed packet. Watermelon still has his eyebrows in-game unplanted, and the melon pole upgrades Wintermelon has eyebrows in the game on the seed packet. First off are some removed achievements. First off is the Popcorn achievement, where you must destroy 2 Gargantuars with the Cob Cannon missiles in a single level. This achievement was in the paid versions. It was removed from the free Android version and iPhone versions for unknown reasons, but it was for some reason still included in the free iPad version. Next up is Alive and Planting, where you need to get 40 waves of Survival Endless. It is found in the paid iPad version, but removed from the free iPad version for unknown differences. Next is Throwing the Zombie, where you gotta hypnotize the lead disco zombie. This was only found in the 1.0 and 1.0.1 version of the paid iPad versions of the game before being removed. It was replaced in version 1.0.2 with Disco Was Undead, because of the disco zombie new design, which to me looks like Disco Stew from The Simpsons. Next is Down the Hole, which the player needs to dig all the way down to the Chinese zombies. This was found in the paid iPad versions 1.0 to 1.0.5. It was later replaced by Packing Express later, which is similar to the original achievement, but also records the player's best time. The title screen was changed at one point. The visuals are of a higher quality and has a wider art style. The appearance of the zombies were also changed to match close to the zombies in-game. Also, the basic zombies in the background were changed to a football zombie and a newspaper zombie. Next is the original iOS and Android versions of the game. Main menu when you used graphics from the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 ports of the game. This was later replaced by a more modern and sleeker design in both the paid and free iPad versions. Later, the iPhone and Android versions would be updated to match the main menu. In the free version, the stone gnome zombie has removed in favor of the zombie near the main grave and the bonus graves. First off are some scrap mini games that were in the limbo page, but we covered that earlier on. And they're all in the mobile versions with some hacking, except for Grave Danger and High Gravity, which both of them sucked. But as of version 1.9.2, for the paid iPad versions, due to their IDs being overwritten by the Zombiquarium and Facebreaker minigames. Next are some unused quick play levels. Only half of the adventure levels are in quick play mode, but every adventure level has a quick play version, meaning that half of the quick play levels now goes unused. As in the free version, the quick play menu was combined with the adventure mode, meaning that all of the quick play versions now go unused. In later iPad versions, the quick play level 4-5, which is unused and also has a Facebreaker level, is incorrectly set to daytime instead of night, which causes the hypno streams to fall asleep. Next are some levels that are inaccessible in early versions. In very early versions, most of the content from the original PC version was not available. However, they were not available by normal means. With some hacking, you could actually get access to these extra features because they were in the game, but they were very broken. Gradually, though, the PC version content was fixed up in the mobile version, and it was made available later when it was actually good. There are some survival hard levels that function exactly like the other version applied for zombies, except that the waves are broken, which causes the game to skip 2 waves. There is also all the survival endless levels, which was also left over from the PC version, and it functions almost exactly like the PC version, except the same issue is present in the survival hard levels. First off is an unused icon for Walnut Bowling 2. In the final game, the icon is the same for the first Walnut Bowling. The graphic was only found in paid iPad versions 1.0 to 1.0.5 before being removed. Next is an early version for icon for iZombie. This is found in the paid iPhone 1.6, version 1.6. The icon resembles the PC version icon for iZombie, which is a seed packet for the basic zombie, but this basic zombie has a bigger head for some reason. This is likely changed because the seed packets don't look like that in the iPhone version. The final icon replaced the original icon by the time iZombie released in version 1.9. Next up is an icon for Bungie Blitz, which is redone from the PC version, even though the minigame still goes unused. This was also found in the paid iPhone versions 1.6 before it was eventually removed. Next are unused seed packets for a giant walnut from Walnut Bowling 2 and the backwards repeater from Facebreaker. These seed packets were in the game from the very beginning. However, by the time these modes were added, seed packets were redone in a higher resolution, leaving the original versions of the seed packets unused. In the paid iPhone versions 1.6, the Plants and Zombies sprites Atlas contained various zombie heads that have red and green eyes. The basic zombie heads were later removed in a different update. The green-eyed Gargantuar, however, still remains in the game to this day, but is not properly upscaled. The green-eyed Gargantuar may be an early version of the Giga Gargantuar, but the Giga Gargantuar also has unused sprites in this version of the game. Next is an unused button that says Classic, which is shaped like the Quick Play Pool Levels button. The original purpose of the button is unknown. In the paid iPad versions 1.9.5 and up, as well as the free iPad versions, or unused Sunbank can be found in the files. It resembles the one that was used in iPhone and Android versions of the game, but was redrawn at twice the scale. Next up is an upsell screen, which is used because no version of Plants vs. Zombies goes unused because no version of Plants vs. Zombies mobile has an upsell page, because there is now a trial version, unlike the PC. This is found in early versions of the paid Android versions. Some of the old graphics from the versions 1.0 to 1.9.13 is still in the current game's files. And finally, the unused zombie base from the PC version is still remains in the game's files in all versions. To end off this video, we're going to be looking at the unused text for the iOS and Android versions and iPad. So let's begin. Advice 3 in a row. More vases incoming. Streak of 3 cleared. This is originally unused in the PC version, but this text was also later used for the quick play versions of level 4-5, for phone and Android, and a version of Facebreaker, iPad. When the quick play menu was combined with the adventure mode in the free versions, this text became unused once again for iPhone and Android, but is still used on the iPad. Please register. Your trial version of Zombotany has expired. You must register your copy to continue playing. Register, invalid code. The license code you entered is not valid for that name. Make sure the name and the registration number are entered correctly. This is unused text for a trial version of Zombotany, which could refer to the minigame with the same name. However, it's most likely that it was a leftover from the prototype of the PC version, which is known as Zombotany, along with hundreds of other, there's like 80 plus early names, but one of them was Zombotany, and it was another name considered for the game. However, the text is not present for the PC version or its unknown prototypes. This is first found in the paid iPhone version 1.2, even though the Zombotany minigame wasn't added until version 1.6. PVZ Store. Congratulations, you successfully updated PVZ. Enjoy a wealth of new content. Restore Game Pack. If you already have purchased the Game Pack, click OK to re-download the pack at no extra cost. PVZ new content available. Did you know we have new content available for purchase for PVZ? You can play new game modes like Burned, new minigames. It's super awesome. Loading. Go to PVZ Store. You already own this pack. Now, there are several typos in here. Burned is one of them. And that's it. First found in paid iPhone versions 1.6 and removed in version 1.8. Unlock this minigame for coins. Unlock 8 minigames for coins. And the final game you cannot ever purchase individual minigames or 8 minigames at once. Only 3 at a time. First found in paid iPhone version 1.6. Buy all locked minigames at a discount. You'll get number minigames for just price. You save saving. Something about buying minigames in bulk. Again, you can only buy 3 at a time in the final game. First found in the paid iPhone version 1.6. Red Nose Day. There's some random gibberish for the description. This was found in the launchstrings.txt from the paid iPhone versions 1.7. Listen up! Mouth big smile, scream. I dug up this golden glove and it does crazy stuff. Mouth small smile. Now you can pick up plants and move them somewhere else. Those zombies are dead meat. No wait, never mind. Mouth small smile. Move a plant by dragging it to another spot. Or touch a plant, then touch it wherever you want it to go. You can even plant a plant or swap them over. Who writes this stuff? And this is exciting. You can use more fingers to drag multiple plants at the same time. You couldn't make this stuff up. And don't forget to use any sign you collect to buy consumables. Consumables. Is that even a word? Which is unused dialogue from Crazy Dave about a golden glove that can move plants around the lawn. This is first found in a paid iPad version 1.9.5, but can also be found in every free iPad version. This text is not present at all in any iPhone or Android versions. Beat it. Defeat a dancing zombie before he summons his backup dancers. Know your plants. Title, even Morty Culturalist. Use every plant at least once. Nom nom nom. You stop the horde using only the sunflower, walnut, and chopper at any level. Disrespect the dead. Remove 10 graves during a single nighttime level. Gold Farmer. Plant 5 marigolds and a gold magnet in a single level. Face to face. To complete a level with digger zombies without any of them reaching the left side of your lawn. Heavy weapons. Complete last stand using only cob cannons to kill zombies. Zen Prophet. Earn a total of $100,000 to your Zen Garden, which are all unused achievements from various versions of Plants vs. Zombies. May not contain nuts. Defeat a nighttime level without using walnuts or toenuts. This may be an unused alternate version of Walnut Attack, first found in the iPhone version 1.2. Salt and a Spin. Upgrade all your plants in Begold Twist. This is an early name and description for the Diamond Begolder, found in an early version of launchstrings.txt from the paid iPhone version 1.7. Thrifty. Complete last stand with 2,000 some left, which is an early named description of Soul Incivitus, whatever that is. Fingers of Speed. Wow, you scrolled to China in time seconds, which is an early name and description of Pecking Express. Dog Walking Zombie, Dog Zombie, and Propeller Zombie, which are names of cut zombies, and they also have their own descriptions that just says basically Dog Walking Zombie description, Dog Zombie description, and Propeller Zombie description. Advice Scary Potter tutorial, nice. Temp, Dave put more vases on your lawn. The shovel needs time to refresh before digging again. In the final game, the shovels can be used instantly all the time. Do not be alarmed. Plants are not real. Survival mode unlocked. Play from the main menu. Survival mode is never locked from the present, so this text is not used. You have defeated the boss zombie. Congratulations, you have most triumphant. Warning. Not sure if this is unusual, but it looks like a placeholder. Vase. Mysterious Vase. You found a mysterious vase. Now you can play Vase Breaker mode. In the final game, you unlock Puzzle mode, which comes with Fly Zombie and Vase Breaker. Vase Breaker is a Face Breaker. Nice. More seeds. Would you like to be able to plant more kind of seeds? No sound, no click. Get more levels, more plants, more zombies in a full version game. And it's just the upsell page. This plant is only available in the full version. You play a level. Do you wish to play level 3-4? Hardware acceleration cannot be enabled on this computer. Your video card does not meet the minimum requirements for this game. Your video card may not fully support this feature. If you experience slower performance, please disable hardware acceleration. Which is leftover text about hardware acceleration. And that's it. First off are some descriptions that were changed in the far future. First is Starford. Aw man, says Starford. I went to the dentist the other day, and he said I have 4 cavities. I've got, count it, 1 tooth. 4 cavities and 1 tooth? How does this happen? Starfruit shoots stars in 5 directions. Starfruit plant food, shoot stars in 5 directions. This seems to be a placeholder in the description. Specifically, it seems to be a placeholder because the first entry is from the first game. So it was just a placeholder probably until a new joke was written. And next is Citron. Since he was a young citrus, he tried to donate plasma to help out people, but his juices were too acidic. Then he discovered how to donate a different kind of plasma. Citron shoots powerful balls of plasma. So yeah, once again, the description was changed. So probably this time he wasn't a PZ1, so this one is probably just a placeholder for it. Next up is Laser Beam. Range stat, all zombies in a lane. What was just a regular beam until a lab accident involving chemical spills in a radioactive Weevil gave him strange powers beyond those of normal beams. Laser beam fired down the lane, hitting all zombies ahead of it. Laser beam plant food and shoots a laser that pierces through zombies. And finally is the Tile Turnip, whose description was changed. Tile Turnip. Though great sacrifices comes great power titles, such is the way of the Tile Turnip. Through great sacrifice comes great power titles, such is the way of the Tile Turnip. Tile Turnip creates a power title on planting and creates a power title. Next is Marigold. Now, while Marigold only appears in Zen Garden, with some hacking you can actually use the Marigold on the lawn. It is used on the lawn, and it would act like the Marigold from the first game, whose ability was to produce coins for the player to collect. But sometimes Marigold would fall asleep. If you use plant food on Marigold, then she would produce a lot of coins and then die. Marigold. Special. Gives coins. Marigold spends a lot of time deciding whether to spit out a silver coin or a gold one. She thinks about it, weighs the angle, she does solid research and keeps up with current publications. That's how winners stay ahead. Marigolds give you coins, Marigold plant food gives you coins. Now we have one unused description for the Dark Ages, which is for Puffshroom. Puffshroom, to do, is the description. Puffshroom is a short-range shooter. It only lasts for a limited time. Short-range shooter lasts for a limited time. Now we have unused plants that were for the Dark Ages, but probably because the world was too short, these plants go unused. First off is Pulse-Shroom, whose description would have been Pulse-Shroom. Pulse-Shroom description to do. Pulse-Shroom flings projectiles over obstacles at the enemy. It flings more projectiles over time. And then for the tooltip, flings more projectiles over time. And finally is Scaredy-Shroom. The cactus had a similar ability to the Scaredy-Shroom, but when the cactus hides, it acts more like a spike weed. This may have been why Scaredy-Shroom never appears in PZ2. It could also be that, once again, Dark Ages was just too short, because it's the shortest world in the game, and they've never added level 6, so. Its description is Scaredy-Shroom. To do, Scaredy-Shroom is a long-range shooter that hides when enemies get near it. Long-range shooter hides when enemies are nearby. First off is a Valuable Mowers upgrade. Valuable Mowers drop more money for each lawnmower at the end of the level. Valuable Mowers, lawnmowers drop 2 coins instead of just 1. Upgrade power up duration 1. Upgrade power up duration 1 in all caps. Increase the duration that your power-ups are active. Does the same thing for power-up duration 2. Upgrade power-up duration 2. Collectible bacon. Yep, bacon. Why? Because he's crazy! Bacon collection. Bacon. Collect bacon. Because bacon. Image world map bacon. Features collectible bacon. Collectible junk. Image end level bacon. Present type junk bacon 1. Image end level bacon. Junk name bacon. Bacon apocalypse. Honestly, that would probably be the best feature in the game. There's also a Vase Breaker power-up. Power-up Vase Breaker color. Power-up Vase Breaker color. Image UI power-ups power Vase Breaker color. And finally is Cherry Bomb, which, for some reason, like PZ3, Cherry Bomb was going to be a power-up. Plant Cherry Bomb to destroy zombies. Cherries are the boom. Choose Cherry Bombs as a power-up and explode today's Pinata Party. Level power-ups Cherry Bomb, and power-up Seed Packet. First off is very early Lost City Day 1. This was first added in the Spring Day update, which was added on March 25th, 2015. In this version of Lost City, it is in the far future, and it has golden tiles. These golden tiles act very differently from their final counterparts. While the golden tiles still produce on it if you plant a plant on it, if zombies step on it, then sometimes either a bot swarm or a raiding party would happen. The zombies in this level were future zombie, conehead future zombie, Zombie, Buckethead Future Zombie, Bugbot Imp, Troglodyte, Yeti Imps, Discotron 3000, Disco Jetpack Zombie, and Swashbuckler Zombie. Early Lost City Day 17 was added in the Lost City Part 1 and has the final gold tiles. The Adventure Zombies were added instead of the Future Zombies, but it still has the Bugbot Imp, Troglodyte, Yeti Imps, Discotron 3000, Disco Jetpack Zombie, and Swashbuckler Zombie. Next is Far Future. Some of these things exist in the Chinese version of PvZ2. Access to the Terror from Tomorrow. 24 more stars obtainable in the future. Universe. These numbers are all in Roman numerals. Zombus Test Lab 1. Zombus Test Lab 2. Zombus Test Lab 3. Gate. Zomba Temporaltron Mark 1. Keyword Special. Stat. Summon zombies from different time periods. Dr. Zombas had trouble deciding which time period styling would be best for the Temporaltron, so he just went with all of them. The Power Tile Crushing Creation from the Far Future. Hey, it's me, but from the future. Has technology advanced yet? I don't know. I'm still looking for my taco. No! I have to make this question count. What's your favorite taco topping? Hot sauce. Whoa! Mine too! We should be friends. Hey, where did future me go? I requested his departure to avoid a temporal paradox. My user days limit cannot exceed 1. Another Zomboss battle can't keep a bad guy down. Second time is the charm, right? Right? Penny, do you ever get deja vu? No. Penny, do you ever get deja vu? The future is so bright, I gotta wear shades. Zombies are like action figures, and I have magnifying glass. This zone is filled with sun bombs. Maintain caution. One more level and I will no longer fear for my circuits. Conveyor belts. The technology of yesterday. Today. ... Upon our entry into the future, I have detected a weight change in the cabin. Thanks for noticing. I haven't eaten in 4,000 years. ... Several plants have been beamed away, and they're being held hostage by Zomboss. That's nice of him to plant sit us. What happened to the lawn? It's so glowy. I've also detected power tiles on the space now. Whoa, better try that one again. That Mr. Boss guy was kind of a jerk. Continue earning stars to unlock new stargates we discover. Plus, practice advanced planting techniques in the challenge zones. Just remember, plants are for planting. And brains, those are for braining? Amazingly, after that attack, all systems are operational. My limbs are present and unaccounted for, but there's a crack in my favorite taco holder. No! We've successfully retrieved the lost plants. Oh, I just missed those little guys. What is our purpose here, User Dave? My threat gauge, I cannot advise moving ahead. But future tacos! Technology surely has advanced. Let's head over to those giant robots. I think I know these guys. Greetings! As you have reached the 50% mark, we have sent you to invoice for 50% of your brain. We expect partial delivery in person in 5 days' time. Regards, Dr. Edgar Dombos. And then he leaves. Wow, he sure is swell. Power tile place, Raiders. Final day. If tacos were amazing before, then they have to be even better in the future. Has the taco been perfected? Only time will tell. Beat Western final day. This is for the preview teaser for the future. Boss 22 levels, 1 challenge zone, 7 plants, 1 upgrade, access 31 new items. Spider-Bot Imp. He always wanted to see the world, be his own boss, and meet and consume interesting brains. He still doesn't understand how he got stuck in a cramped Spider-Bot job 24/7. Lands on your lawn, past your defenses, then crawl forward. Jetpack Zombie. Floats over low plants, boosts over most other plants. Weakness, Tall Nut. The Jetpack Zombie was an early adopter during the brain acquisition tech explosion of 2113. Little did he know he would be stuck with version 1.0 of the simplest jetpack. Boost to float all over the tallest plant barriers. Awesome, you can plant anything over plant tiles. Next, text related to the hero Cleopatra Zombie exists, but seems to just be placeholders. This may have been in the game as a version 1.0.777344805. It may have been cut as a version 1.0777344805. Zombie hero Cleopatra Gers Zoop. All hero related objects should go here. Hero zombie level properties, default hero level props, Cleopatra level props, beams out, beams in, override behavior props, hero types, Cleopatra override spawn, zombie hero spawner props, Cleopatra default spawn, zombie hero props, zombie hero Cleopatra default, hero behavior props, hero types, Cleopatra default spawn, zombie treasure yeti props, zombie treasure yeti default, and walk time. Now, I'm not going to try to read Dark Ages because it is a garbled mess, as you can see here. But I will read the plants that are mentioned in the almanac entries. Scaredy Shroom is there. Pulse Shroom is there. Roto Shroom is there. Dart Shroom, Zoom Shroom, and Vacuum Shroom. Instead of modern day like the final game, there's going to be a world named Time Twister, which includes elements from previous worlds. This name would be later be used for a pinata party. The icon that would be used for Penny's Pursuit was removed in Update 1.3, but was introduced in version 7.9.1. Also, the temporary on the world map icons were very intentional. Player's trip to Time Twister. Time Twister, day, level number. Time Twister. World Map PTT, non-PVR, Image World Map PTT, Pop NM, World Map NM PTT. Alright, next up is the Beach, which is an early version of Big Wave Beach, which was in development since June 20th, 2014, which was 4 days before they released the 2.4.1 update, which added part 1 of the Dark Ages. In version 2.9.1, they added Big Wave Beach. The Bamboo was going to be a planned Big Wave Beach because PvC Adventures was shutting down, but was later replaced by the Banana Launcher. Before the 2.7.1 update, there was a zombie known as Fast Swimmer Zombie. It was fast on water but normal on land. It was replaced by the Surfboard Zombie. Also, there was an early version of the Bowling Bulb named Coconut Molar. The Bowling Bulb was also nerfed before Big Wave Beach was released because its plant food could kill a Gargantua in one hit. In the coding of Bowling Bulb, 1, there is data for a giant bowling bulb which would kill zombies instantly, but playtesters said it would make the level too easy. There is no code for a giant bulb in Bulb Bowling 2. In trailers for Big Wave Beach, there was an Elvis imp wearing sunglasses and a black jacket. In a discussion, it was stated that Elvis imp was used for trailer purposes. Next up, we got some unused tech for the beach. The Beach, and then the title for it is The Beach with an exclamation point. Check out the beach. It's hot. Get it? Hot. Plus 10 levels, plus 4 plants. Highlight count 200 in player's trip to the beach. Frostbite Caves first appeared in the files in version 3.0.1 with the name Ice Age. To this day, Frostbite Caves is still known as Ice Age internally. Frostbite Caves was thought to be fake by some people and real by others during the development of Big Wave Beach. The lily pad and some other plants were seen, but still, the world was thought to be fake. That was until months later when Frostbite Caves was added, but with different content. Frostbite Caves was originally planned to have 34 levels instead of 32 levels. The Rotabago's old name was X-Shot because the shots came out shaped as an X. The original description for Frostbite Caves was beware the frozen limbs of your plants will become frozen veggies. Lost City first appeared in the files in version 3.4.4. The first plant that still goes unused in Lost City is Sunpod, which grows a head for every 500 sun you have in the bank. He has a cost of 300 and has a fast recharge. Next is the Stun Gun, which attracts sun towards it for a short time and then shoots to collect the sun out at the zombies. It costs 50 suns and has a mediocre recharge. For Neon Mixtape Tour, its internal name is 80s. And for Jurassic Marsh, its early name was Mesoic Marsh, and it was internally named Dino. I didn't quite get that. My same name as player. That's your name, silly. Based on this, maybe you could have named Penny at some point. The following text is untranslated in other languages. Giddy up. Egypt. Event. Level number. Jump to collection view. Jump to machine view. This one is called Mega Zombie Head Pincher, says Winnie. I called it. Hey, that's pretty good. My programming forbids the use of expletives. Power-ups are now online. Zap away. It's like magic, but better. Any sufficiently advanced technological solution looks like magic. Power Up Demo. This is everything that we can ever be said about this game. Right here, you're looking at it. Present in the internal list of minigames are endless version of Mummy Memory, Not OK Coral, and Cannons Away. So Not OK Coral is still in the game, but rest in peace to Mummy Memory and Cannons Away. They were great, honestly. Honestly, I think Not OK Coral was the worst out of them. Honestly, it probably wouldn't change much if Not OK Coral was removed, but still sad that these heroes have fallen. Anyways, Almanac purchase, bypass, keygate cost, upgrade price, and world preview dollar cost. There was originally gonna be gravestones for Pirate Sea's Wild West in the far future. The gravestones looked like they're fully functional and finished, but was later scrapped. The gravestones was originally gonna appear in every world of the game, but the idea was eventually scrapped in favor of just the Ancient Egypt and Dark Ages gravestones. First off is the Zombie Proto, which is obviously a prototype zombie, probably used for testing purposes. Only sprites for the zombie exists, who is a red dot, and has an idle, walking, eating, and death animations. Probably the most famous piece of unused content PvZ2 is the Cleopatra zombie, who resembles the actual Cleopatra, and was meant to appear in ancient Egypt. She was meant to summon zombies just like the Dancer zombie from PvZ1. Not only could she summon zombies around her, but she could also summon zombies vertically, horizontally, in a square, and in front of her. It's unknown why she was scrapped, but it was probably because she was too hard for the first world. First off is Iceberg Lettuce, is internally known as Iceberg. That's Iceberg with a U, is not an E. Tile Turnip is internally referenced as Power Plant, hinting at the art that the artwork was originally different and probably was not going to be a turnip. Rhodobaker is internally known as X-Shot, mentioned earlier. Red Stinger was internally called Column Pod in early versions, but it was changed to Red Stinger later. Gold Leaf was known internally as Gold Tile Turnip, probably because both the Tile Turnip and Gold Leaf make tiles. And Perfume Sherm was known as Dino Nip, and the prototype codes for Jurassic Marsh. Several zombies have internal names that don't reflect their actual in-game names. Conehead Zombie, Buckhead Zombie, and all their variants in other worlds have the same ending suffixes, Armor 1 and Armor 2 respectively. Night Zombie, Blockhead Zombie, Jurassic Fossilhead, and Centurion Zombies share the Armor 3 suffix. And Brickhead Zombie, Pyramid Head Zombie, Barrelhead Zombie, Carthead Zombie, Hollowhead Zombie, Amberhead Zombie, and Busthead Zombie share the Armor 4 suffix. Barrel Roller Zombie is known as Barrel Pusher in earlier versions, Chicken Wrangler known as Chicken Farmer, Shield Zombie known as Future Protector, Jesser Zombie as Dark Juggler, Parasol Zombie as Lost City Jane, Turquoise Zombie known as Lost City Crystal Skull, Bugbot's Imp, and originally the game was Spiderbot Imp in earlier versions. And Penny's early name is internally referenced as Winnie. And if you go through the actual TCRF video stuff, which is linked in the description, you can actually see that a lot of the unused text that with Crazy Dave and Penny talking together, Penny is referred to as Winnie, and for PC text. Hardware acceleration cannot be enabled on this computer. Your video card does not meet the minimum requirements for this game. Windowed mode is only available if your desktop was running in either 16-bit or 32-bit. Color mode when you started the game. If you like to run in windowed mode, then you need to quit the game and switch your desktop to 16 or 32-bit color mode. No windowed mode, 3D acceleration, full mode. Your video card may not fully support this feature. If you experience slower performance, please disable hardware acceleration. And that's it. What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. And today we will be looking at Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 1 unused content. This is my second most played PvZ game behind the original Plants vs. Zombies. Anyways, let's see the unused content, PvZ Garden Warfare 1. By the way, link to the cutting room for PvZ Garden Warfare 1 unused content in the description. First off, we have unused graphics for Gravedigger. The Gravedigger was turned into a boss before being cut entirely. The first graphic is the Gravedigger spotting icon that would hover over the player using the Gravedigger. The second graphic is when Gravedigger gets chosen and guarded off in the boss slots for that round. Next is the graphic for a game mode we will talk about later, but it was an antidote for the zombies on the scrapped game mode Chomp Fires. The actual antidotes were most likely just a placeholder. The next graphic also involves Chomp Fires, and it's for the radio part, in which zombies would have to collect and call for help in order to win, and it is also found in the game's files. Next, we have graphics for both the Engineer's Zombot turret and the Scientist's hand grenade, both of which were replaced by a different ability. The hand grenade was likely replaced by the Super Sticky Ball, as they were both kind of similar. It used to walk towards the enemy before exploding. Next, we have sticker pack graphics for abilities that you unlock by leveling up the character. Also, for some reason, the Heal Flower in this sticker has gold petals instead of the normal yellow. It seems like you don't have to level up. You didn't have to level up to unlock the default abilities, and it was from sticker packs instead. I think the change for you to unlock abilities by leveling up is way better. Next, we have sticker packs. One featured a Conehead and Buckethead zombie, one features a Heal Flower, and the last one features a Gargantuar, which looks like it can be from Battle for Neighborville, but it's not. The sticker pack with the Conehead and Buckethead are used as default sticker packs if the original cannot be found in PvZ Garden Warfare 2. Next, we have unused sticker book graphics, which interestingly, the game files refer to as cards, and 2 years later, a PvZ game with cards came out. Some of the plants and zombies use unused cosmetics. To me, the plants with the exact same organics kind of look like crystals. The Foot Soldier has the weirdest unused graphics. Also, there are none for All-Star, which is interesting. Next, we have a dummy card that says "Card No Exist," and it has a sad-looking Yeti on it. The card was most likely going to be used in case the card didn't have a graphic associated with it. Also, this exists in PvZ Garden Warfare 2 for some reason. And finally, we have an early version of the results screen for Garden Ops, and the image is split in two parts. First, I'll start off with the most well-known unused character in PvZ Garden Warfare 1, and that is Gravedigger, which was an earlier attempt at a scientist. It used a shotgun to kill plants, and it could plant gravestones to protect itself and raise AI zombies. It also had an unused ability named Hand Grenade, which was later considered for scientists before being scrapped completely. Gravedigger was scrapped mostly due to it having a lack of ideas. It is also a scrapped boss, and was replaced with Baron Von Bats. In the files of the game, Baron Von Bats is referred to as Gravedigger, and on launch day, its spotting icon in placeholder Zombot slots were in the game's files. Gravedigger did make it to other Plants vs. Zombies games, though. In Garden Warfare 2, it can be seen in a test tube in the Z-Tech Factory map. And it is also a zombie in PvZ 3, who digs up bones and spawns zombies on the tile it lands on. So basically a Tomb Raider. A rock pea shooter may have been planned for PvZ Garden Warfare 1, but was first seen in a Twitter message by EA. It was added to Garden Warfare 2 as rock pea, though. The Bling Chomper kind of looks like Disco Chomper in PvZ Garden Warfare 2, but was one of the original concepts of PvZ Garden Warfare 1, but was scrapped for it being way too underpowered. No further details were ever given. Next, we have SWAT Zombie. It was an unused character. It was involved with Gravedigger and has textures with Gravedigger. It exists in the files of Garden Warfare 2 and BFN, but pieces of info are missing there. I will be talking a tiny bit about this more later. And finally, we have Carpenter. It only appears as unused sticker book graphics next to the already existing engineers, but other than the one image, it does not exist. Next, we have debugging materials. And most of the options don't work, but I'll go over the ones that still have function and ones that sound interesting. Disable pre-round. While this one sounds interesting, it does not work. Kill all AI. Does not work, but I would like to see all the AI just instantly die. I think it would be kind of funny. Pause AI. This has no function, but I think it would be funny if it just made the AI stuck in place. Sticker Shop. If the button is pressed, it opens up the Sticker Shop. Add currency. It adds coins to the coin counter to buy sticker packs. You can get 1 coin, 25 coins, 100 coins, 500 coins, 1,000 coins, and 100,000 coins. Grant all inventory. Unlocks every character upgrade customization and customization. Gives you 10 million coins. Grant unopened packs. Gives you the packs you got for free at the beginning of the game. Redeem code. Open the redeem option on Origin. The Zomba appeared in the E3 reveal of PvZ Garden Warfare 1. However, it goes unused, but parts of the Zomba can still be found around the Cactus Canyon and Crash Course. In Garden Warfare 2, it was also scrapped from being a Garden Ops boss, but did make it into Zombopolis. Dr. Zombos also has an unused model, most likely to pilot the Zombot. Also, a van was going to be on the Zombot's back, most likely like the original game where the Zombot would grab a van and throw it at your plants to destroy them. Also, there's a bungee zombie like the original game, and it goes unused. I would imagine if you had potted plants, that the bungee would destroy it. There was also a mech gargantuar, like in PvZ 2, and it was planned for Garden Ops, along with the future ramp, which is likely a spawnable zombie, which both appear in the sequel of the game in Garden Ops. There is an unused question mark, which was going to be used as a mystery power-up for an unused game mode we'll talk about later, called Super Team Vanquish Mode. There are unused sounds for a hand grenade, which was a scrap power-up for scientists for sounds like this. The first one sounds like sizzling, which likely was it moving, and the other two are likely exploding up close or far away. There's an unused Zombot sound for it landing on the ground, which was used in the E3 trailer. There is also an unused sound for the Mech Gargantuar being selected on boss slots in Garden Ops. There's also some loading music, so here's a sample of what they sound like. Also, Loon's Skirmish sounds a little bit different with a choir 13 seconds in and a slightly different outro. The Rah 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 has a version that is just instruments, so here's what it sounds like. And finally, a different marching theme. It's slower and it has more trumpets than the original. To start off this section, we have Zomboss Factory. This map was most likely going to be part of Gardens and Graveyards and has 2 pages of concept art and the art of Plants vs. Zombies. Multiple pieces of that concept art show Zombotany zombies, but it's unknown what it was like and what it was. The idea of the map was later reused for Z-Tech Factory and PvZ Garden Warfare 2. The Zomba assembly line was in concept art of Z-Tech Factory. Also, one of the cabinets from the concept art can be found in Driftwood Shores. And finally, parts of the concept art of this map was used in boss mode, reveal trailer. Next, we have larger maps for Gardens and Graveyards, and one from single player. Driftwood Shores, being an already big map, had 8 objectives to complete, which were the Zomboss Lair, Suburbs, Morena Docks, Beach, Market, Pirate Museum, and the Lighthouse. The original version of the final objective was longer than we have it today. The original version of the final objective was longer than we have it today. Rather than just going through a cannon as a zombie and land on the island to destroy the Mega Flower with your weapons, the original version had zombies have to avoid coastal rock formations, and also had to go through rings. This was removed for pacing and balance of the objective. Also, originally, the Mega Flower was going to shoot a laser at zombies, and zombies would have to use a laser on the shipwreck to fire back at the Mega Flower. The idea was removed because the zombies had way too big an advantage and was replaced by flax cannons in the end. Cactus Canyon is the shortest Gardens and Graveyard maps, only having 5 objectives, but it was originally planned to have 7 objectives, those being Cemetery, Trailer Park, Motel, Suburbs, Golf Course, Resort, and an airport, with the last 2 being removed. Also, Zomba Estate was originally connected to Suburban Flats, but was split up in 2 maps, most likely for being too big, but with a little bit of hacking, you can actually see a teleporter in Zomba Estate that leads to Suburban Flats. Also, Port Scallywag and Sharkbite Shores are also the same map, but are blocked off by terrain. And Chomptown and Garden Center very heavily implies they were connected based off the alleyways and roads, but seem to have been scrapped early on. Most of these do nothing and don't have a video or image, but there is one that works, which is Supply Drop, which summons a dark flower for plants and an engineer turret for zombies. This is the only one that does not use a placeholder icon out of all the unused abilities. The engineer turret was an ability that was scrapped for the engineer, and you can have 2 at the time on the field. If you try to place down another, the oldest one will explode. However, it was shown in the zombie class reveal trailer, meaning it have to be cut really late in development. The Alpha Heal Flower was an alternate ability to the Heal Flower. It would produce Sun immediately heal, but it would give less healing because the Sun was smaller. The E3 drone is just a garlic drone, but it spawns under the player instead of in front of the player. Sports Juice is a scrapped ability for All-Star that, after drinking, would make him Hulk out, becoming a lot more bulky. It was probably a limited weapon that would make All-Star attack at close range, but was replaced by Dummy Shield. Also, the image on the shield decoy may be a reference to the Sports Juice ability. I mentioned this one earlier, but we are talking about Super Team Vanquish. It's Team Vanquish, but with power-ups. Well, on most maps, you can only have 6 power-ups at once. On the map Garden Center, for some reason, you can have 28 at once, which is weird. Your team needs to get 100 Vanquishes as opposed to 50 Vanquishes. The power-ups the player can get are Super Jump. Multiplies your jump by 4, which lasts 20 seconds. Money Bags adds 10,000 points, which means 10,000 coins. Armor makes you take half the damage from enemies for 20 seconds. Backup. Summon plant AI to help you fight if you're plants, and summon zombie AI to help you fight if you're zombies. Speedy. You get 1.5 times speed for 20 seconds. Star Power. Reduces damage taken to you by 75%. Multiplies your speed by 1.8% and walk into your opponents to kill them instantly. Only thing is, you can't use your weapons and the ability lasts for 20 seconds. Healing Aura. This provides a health boost for you and your teammates in a 5-meter radius, which generates for 5 hearts every half second, which lasts for 15 seconds. There are also scrapped power-ups for this game mode. Ability Reset. As soon as it's collected, all abilities reset. Heal instantly heals you for 200. Mini Heal only heals you for 50. Anyways, the next unused game mode is an infection-style game mode named Chomp Virus. The plants are only allowed to play as Chomper. When any zombie player dies by Chomper, they are sent to the plants team to play as Chomper also. The zombies had to collect antidotes every 45 seconds or they will die automatically and join the plants team. Also, everybody takes twice the amount of damage as before. After every zombie dies, the game will end and a new round will begin with 15-second start time. Also, the antidotes are actually just air tanks from Driftwood Shores, which was most likely as a placeholder before the game was scrapped. Also, the Chompers had a buff known internally as Chomp Virus Super Chomper, which gives the player regeneration. 4 times their jump height as normal and gives 1.5 movement speed. There's also a variant of this game mode, though, where zombies collect parts of a radio to call for rescue and win the game. The next piece of unused content was an extension of the map Zomboss E-State. There was an arena where it was scrapped out of the game, but it was planned since the beginning of the game. Normally, the prototype Zomba Arena never loads, but if you force the game to load the sub-world data in the world in order for it to show up, the Zombot has 2 attacks that he uses in the arena. First off, he will throw 2 to 4 walnuts from Walnut Hills, which normally only comes out of the coconut cannon. A second and final attack involves him spawning in a purple rock that if stood on will do 30 damage on a second for 5 seconds. Now, for unused codes, we got a SWAT zombie, which I would imagine would be similar to the concept art of the Foot Soldier. The code of the SWAT zombie also exists in PvZ Garden Warfare 2 and in PvZ Battle for Neighborville, but there is some content removed from those games, like the skeleton info. In the next game in the series, Garden Warfare 2, they put Gravedigger in a tube in Z-Tech Factory, but it also has SWAT Zombie, meaning that around the same time Gravedigger was scrapped, the SWAT Zombie was probably also scrapped. Lastly, we have a healing gravestone. Under the file named Gravedigger, there are references to a scrapped ability named Healing Gravestone. Since this is probably the zombie's healing class, it was probably the predecessor to the healing station for scientists. The ability, besides the hand grenade, which was considered a scientist's scrapped ability, not Gravedigger, and the spotting and boss icons. Those are the only two references to Gravedigger still in the files. This code has also made it to Garden Warfare 2. Real quick, I just want to say that this next video was not that good. It was not very well organized. It's kind of a mess, and I'm sorry about that. But I did not really have much time to fix it. So maybe eventually I'll fix it, but for right now, this is the best we got. So, with that being said, let's move on. Both Torchwood and HoverGo 3000 have unused icons, added in December 2018. It would have been icons for other party members in Backyard Battlegrounds, which suggests that at one point these costumes may have been actual variants. We also have sticker pieces for HoverGo and Torchwood, which in the final game cannot be unlocked from sticker packs, but rather from completing Trial of Novus. Next, we have a boss icon for House Gargantua, suggesting that House Gargantua wasn't just going to be part of the Super Gargantua wave, but rather its own separate boss. Next, we have some spotting icons for unused bosses, including Imitator, a Crab Robot, Super Chili Bean, Orange Juice Robot, and Renegade. Also, there are unused spotting icons for the bot and pot spawners. Also, some colored tacos, which like we're going to use in Taco Bandits. In the game mode Suburbidation, there are only 3 bases named ABC, but there are 2 more unused icons for bases D and E, meaning that there were originally going to be 5 bases instead of the normal 3. Next, we have some icons for some unused abilities, like the unused Spike ability. It was like used for Cactus. It may have been a leftover from Garden Warfare 1, judging by the low quality of the image. Also, an unused icon from Torchwood's unused ability Sprint Smash can be found in the files. And there's also a Future Nut, which is a variant of the Tona Battle Meat, which would have given the player standing near a damage boost. This one is not entirely unused, but next we have Explosive Escape. Normally you would never see this in the game. However, if the animated UI button disappears, it can be seen in-game. Cannon Rodeo Exit has an unused icon for exiting Cannon Rodeo. Next we have both of the Garden Warfare 1 engineer drones, which were replaced by the Parrot Pal for Captain Deadbeard, but files for the engineer drones still exist. Next, we have graphics for Boss Bait, including a green crystal, which is unknown what it would have been used for. We also have the bait for the Crab Robot, which was a pair of swimming trunks. We have early Sasquatch bait, which was an open can of soup, which was made when Sasquatch was a story mode boss hunt boss. The Super Chili Bean would have used hot sauce as bait. Orange Juice Robot would have used a plate of breakfast, which is shaped as a face. The Imitator bait was just a block of butter, and Renegade Imp had Cyber Jerky as bait. And also, we have unused pot and bots icons for Uplink Bot, Gloom Shroom, and Lightning Reed. The Uplink Bot seems to be concept art, and Gloom Shroom is weirdly purple instead of green, like in the final game. Now for some more interesting stuff. We have a wishing well. It is found in the game as an unused banner, which contains a wishing well, which would have let players leave behind stars to the other player. I personally think this would have been a cool feature. According to one of the game's developers, Justin Weeb, they removed it because of exploitable issues the mechanic could have caused. Next, we have the game's dummy card. It's the cone-headed bucket head pack, which was also unused in Garden Warfare 1. Yeah! This appears if the card has no graphic associated with it. It even says Garden Warfare on the corner of the pack along with different lighting. Next, there is an unused rank 55 plate with a red zebra red and black zebra-like pattern. However, there are no more characters. No more characters were added to PvZ Garden Warfare 2, so it was unused. Boss mode was supposed to come back in Garden Warfare 2. However, it never does, but there are unused placeholder icons for boss mode. And the sprites for the boss roulette icons, there are placeholder coins that say coins bronze and coins gold. There is a placeholder icon for the zombie horde that says horde armor. And lastly, for unused graphics, we have the sad zombie yeti. That was a dummy card for Garden Warfare 1, but because the Conehead Buckethead sticker pack is the game's dummy card, it is unknown what it's doing in here. There are a lot of debug options, so I'm just going to skip a lot of the debug options, but I'll go over the one that sounds interesting and a few that work. Jump to wave. Immediately goes to a wave. It can go to 1, 2, 3, and question mark. Zombies win plus plants win. It is meant to make zombies instantly win or plants instantly win, but doesn't work. Cats vs. Dinos disable gnomes. The button disables the gnomes and cats and dinos. Disable singularities. Removes all the singularities. Crazy option heal aura. This applies to all the server and must be used online. The CTC zombies win plus plants win. These options make zombies instantly win or plants instantly win. Display all special characters. Display a screen with all the special characters and fonts. EA text debug shows debug text aligned vertically in different places on the screen. This does nothing. Yes, it does. Black market. Alright, this one is kind of funny. It was likely going to road Rux's shop, but instead was a message named temporarily removed. Sorry, and the text says, talk to Jeff Stiff as you need this put back in, and the OK barn saying okie dokie. Skip op waves. This is nothing but sounds interesting. There are a lot more of the debug menu, but since there are a lot more debugging, I don't want to really go over that anymore. There were several advertisement characters in PvZ Garden Warfare 1, whose primaries are unused in PvZ Garden Warfare 2 along with the character. There's the orange burst for the citrus cactus, who is an advert for Aquafina, along with Berry Pea, who has an unused weapon in the game. Cheetos were also an advert in the game, and they had Dr. Chester for Scientists and Chester Chomper, both of which had their primaries and abilities still in this game. The airstrikes were made for boss mode for PvZ Garden Warfare 1. However, since boss mode does not exist in PvZ Garden Warfare 2, the airstrikes go unused in the final game. But the actual thing refuses to work, so maybe a lot of the files were removed. Same with the Healing Gravestone, except it was already a scrapped ability, but a lot of files were removed, so it does not work properly. The Zombot drone and rocket drone were both replaced by this Parrot Pal for Captain Deadbeard, but they still do kind of work. The Zombot drone has a broken propeller, probably because of the files for it are missing, and the rocket drone does not have a texture, so it just appears pink. Goo Blaster Charge. This is an unused alternate version of the Scientist Goo Blaster. It has no sound, but it deals 40 damage up close for the first charge, and for the second charge it does 40 damage up close, but it also fires a projectile that does 30 damage for 70 damage total. AI Assault Rifle. This one was likely used for testing, but the weapon is very similar to Foot Soldier's primary weapon. Teleporter. This is a file that can be found in both PvZ Garden Warfare 1 and PvZ Garden Warfare 2. It goes unused, but when loaded in the game, it has an ability. It is an ability. The ability has infinite cooldown and serves no purpose, and it can be destroyed. AI Gatling is unknown when it was done, but it has infinite ammo. The Inflyer was an imp mech that would let imps fly around like drunk, but has no textures or animations. Although it was briefly in the cinematic intro of the game, it never appears in the game except for in the imp portal room. The concept of the imp fire was reused in BFN on an enemy in Mount Steep. The shotgun was meant for Colonel Corn as an alternate weapon and fires 2 bursts of kernels that do 1 and 2 damage each. E3 Girl Drone. Most of the time, this drone crashes the game, probably because it spawns inside the player, but when it doesn't crash the game, it's a lot different from the regular guard drone, having 100 health instead of 5, and it has only 1 propeller. It also has a slightly different primary. Future Note we already talked about, but it did return for BFN, kind of. Instead of being for Cactus, it's for the engineers, as the engineer's heavy helper. Armor Piercing Peach. This is an unused alternate EM Peach that ignores armor and does 50 damage. The Zombot Turret is an unused engineer ability that spawns a level 1 Zombot Turret. The Buff Bubble was a scrapped version of Hovergun's Buff Beam, which when you spawns a bubble around Hovergo, which buffs nearby teammates and debuffs nearby enemies. Early Heal Flower. This is a scrapped version of Heal Flower. It has 2 charges and spawns a Heal Flower above the player. Sprint Smash. This one finally actually has a video for it, but when used as torch, when he charges in a direction he was facing, knocks any zombies out of its path into the area of effect smash that does 75 damage. The Race Goat Jump is an unused ability most likely used for Delivery Goat. That when when used propels the player forward. On some characters it applies the goop visual to them. Bling Nugget Potato Mine. An unused Bling version of the Nugget Potato Mine that works the same as normal. Bling Heal Station. When a Bling Armored Heal Station was used in the final game, it does act identical to the normal Heal Station, but it's extra shiny. That's all I'm going to cover, as the list gets pretty long, so I'm just going to move on. If you'd like to see the rest of the unused weapon data, I will link it in the description down below. Anyways, let's move on. First off, for this section, we got probably the most well-known unused boss, and that is Imitator. It is a buggy boss hunt. It would have roamed the map and randomly burrow in the ground and summon multiple zombies. Whenever he burrows, he also summons an imitated boss. Bosses he can imitate are Gargantuar, Zen Sensei, Disco Zombie, or Baron Von Bats. Once the plant player destroys the imitated boss, the imitator will come back from the ground and continue fighting. It has tags for boss hunts, and according to Jeff Shaw, the lead designer on all the Garden Warfare games in Star Wars Battlefront 2, it was cut because it was getting expensive really quickly. Next we have Super Chili Bean. He was an unused boss hunt for the normal Super Bean and had a 500 health shield surrounding him. It has its own unique Overbeam mode. Instead of firing a single laser, it would shoot 2 devastating high laser rapidly. The lasers were so powerful that it can kill any playable zombie in 2 seconds. Next, we have Renegade Imp, but due to some files that said it was going to be a boss and also a backyard-related enemy, it was probably not going to be a playable character. Its true original purpose is unknown, but it's still really cool. It uses imp blasters with a broken sound, probably as a placeholder, and would repeatedly summon its mech. Like a Super Chili Bean, the mech is very powerful and can easily kill any playable plant. This mech has a better chain laser, a warp, and a better version of Missile Madness somehow. Foot Stomp and an airstrike of stink clouds, and finally multiple gravity grenades. This boss was lured by some Cyber Jerky, and some strings for the Cyber Jerky still exist, including Cyber Jerky becomes lean. Also, there are some unused sounds, so here they are. Next, we have Zombot. This one was supposed to appear in Garden Ops. It was originally supposed to be in Garden Warfare 1 as a boss and first appeared in E3. I made a video about Garden Warfare 1 unused content, including the Zombots, so the link will be in the description for that video. Occasionally in Z-Tech Factory, one of the Zombots will go rogue and start killing plants and zombies. It isn't considered a boss though. When it's summoned, it will appear in the ground and occasionally attack the player. Beatboxer, a unused boss hunt, home strings, and bait data left over. Other than that, there is nothing from this boss. Next, it's an Unused robot, which was seemingly scrapped early on. It has little to no data in the final build of the game, but in the first version of the game, there's a lot of data for this. There were bait strings and bait. His bait would have been a balanced breakfast. Wave data, which would have summoned citrons, and boss spawn data, which spawns in Torchwood. Although it was scrapped, it did make an appearance in the comics. A crab robot was probably also scrapped early on, and the only two data for it was some text, 2 icons, and animation, and attack names, and some spawn data. His bait was swimming trunks. Now the Sasquatch was used in the final game as a boss hunt, but it was originally going to be a story mode character. His bait was a soup can, which has both an icon and model left over in the final game. The actual boss is very similar to the boss hunt, but it would spawn healing burgers more often and Doug more often as well, usually when he attacked. And with that, let's move on to the next section. Fire Pea and Ice Pea. I'm putting together because they are both NPCs, but they don't appear as a summonable plant. But Ice Pea does appear in the Zomburger delivery challenges. It shoots frozen peas that slow and freeze zombies. Next, there's a magnifying glass from PZ2. Not much to say other than that. The Power Lily would have increased damage from nearby plants. The pea repeater shoots 2 peas at once instead of 1. The food fight pea is an untextured and entirely finished. Due to its name, it was probably been used during the food fight event near Thanksgiving. The fence weed would have likely acted like a coffin zombie. It was probably later replaced by the face weed. Booster Bot would have boosted zombie damage output. And finally, Shield Bot would have attached a protective beam to a nearby zombie. Anyways, that's it for the unused summons, and finally got the actual main page. After 7 pages of the script, of sub-pages alone. Anyways, let's get to the actual main Garden Warfare 2 unused content page. This right here is an early mock-up of Garden Warfare 2. There are many changes in this mock-up, which once again, to save some time, I will not go over all of them, and the link to the cutting room floor for the game will be in the description. So if you want to know every single little change in the mock-up, you can go there. But here's some of the changes. The background kind of looks like Garden Warfare 1, with more blue sky instead of purple. The 8 classes available are all All-Stars, with the images being reused from Garden Warfare 1. But Boss Mode was supposed to return in Garden Warfare 2, and in this image there is Dr. Zomba's, likely representing Boss Mode. All the character images are wrestling stars with different image. 3 orange balls next to the player's name with unknown significance. Near the bottom of the image are 3 bars, which most likely show the class's health, strength, and speed. Nothing like that ever appears in the final game. There's an unused description for it, which reads, "The All-Stars, the go-to choice for clobbering your plant enemies. The basic All-Star can be equipped with football cannon, spike cleats, and more." The description mentions spike cleats, which might have been used for the All-Stars playstyle, and it might have had a bigger role. Because of that, it might have been an ability or passive of some sort. Also, the All-Star's name is incorrect. It's supposed to be spelled like this. The Giga Gargantuan wasn't just going to be a boss, but a playable character. It's very unfinished and it was probably used for testing. Also, it uses the foot soldier's abilities, and its primary is the electric ball that shoots out electricity. It does 300 damage per shot and has 200 ammo. The Laser Goats is also an unfinished class, but this time it was actually going to be used for something. It was going to appear in Team Vanquish Goats, a scrapped mystery portal game mode. They have the physics of a regular goat and also the ability to double jump. The plant version of the goat is named Laser Mohawk, and also the green also has green armor, while the zombie version has purple armor and is named Laser Horns. The unused weapons for this class are its primary, which is similar to Hover Ghost 3000's primary, but it's infinite. Like every infinite ammo weapon, overheats damage buff booster, which is Hover Ghost. Buff Beam. Heal Bletch provides a quick healing over time to nearby enemies. And finally, Impulse Grenade, which is unfinished and uses Gravity Grenade assets, but unlike the Gravity Grenade, it does not explode instantly unless it hits the plant, and the explosion does 15 damage and knockback to the plant. To start off, we got an unused animation for Super Brains. This is likely a cut gesture. It looks like he's charging up in some way and flies a little bit. And we have some unused idle animations for Crazy Dave. There's a lot of unused music, so let's just get started on this section. This one would have been played during a plant mission. This one is the previous one, just for zombies. These next three, we're going to be using Great White North. In the final game, every map uses the same song no matter what zone was captured. The next three is for Seas of Time, and once again in the final game, every map uses the same song no matter what zone is captured. Next is Sunflower Queen's Super Boss Wave. Next, Giga Torchwood's Super Boss Wave. Next, Super Bean's Super Boss Wave. Next, Mex Gargantuar's Super Boss Wave. And next, Zen Sensei Super Boss Wave. Next, we have not a Super Boss Wave music, but legendary hat music. The hat would have been used for a Colonel Core. And finally, a short but dramatic song. Where it would have been used is unknown. First off, we got Tiny Mode, which shrinks the player about 50% and is fully functional, meaning that it was most likely it was scrapped last minute. Next, we have ink painting, which makes everything have black and white outlines and makes particles invisible. The event was leading up to the reveal of BFN, and has several scrapped features. For starters, in the player's backyard, there was a telescope they could interact with, and when interacted with, a character named Taco, which is just a giant taco on top of the town center. The taco was referred to as the taco of your dreams. After the taco stops talking, the player would have seen a screen with rewards kind of like BFN. It is presumed that the rewards would have been used for BFN, as the name of that game was found in the UI setups for the reward screen. Another thing that was left unused was Proposal Salsa mode, which is like Super Team Vanquish. It's Team Vanquish, but with power-ups. For unknown reasons, this was scrapped. In my opinion, it would have been cool to see them remake Super Team Vanquish as that. Alright, so we got a couple of early missions named for this section. 19 Imps and Counting was replaced by Imp Roundup. The Brain Vengers is a reference to the Avengers. It was replaced by the League of Awesome. And finally, we have Grey's Anatomy. It was called that because the shark's name is Grayson, according to one of the game's developers. Also, each class was going to have 5 missions instead of 3, but it's unknown what their names were. In earlier versions of the game, if you clip down to the sewers with All-Star, as the player can talk with an unused NPC that was named Branching Zombot. After attempting to interact with the Branching Zombot, it would give the dialogue, "I have no quests." The only available option to respond is to ask what what, and the branching zombie would say come back later, and the options are yes and no, which ends the dialogue with the branching zombie. In a later unknown update, the branching zombie and all references to it was removed. Off-screen wizard hat. In a now patched glitch, you can see a customization booth with a garlic drone, and they can see a wizard hat on top of the table, which is normally not seen because it's right behind the camera. Also, the top of the closest kind of the hat which goes higher than what is normally seen. In Great White North 2, random gravestones can be found off the map. The upgradable turrets are found in one of the hills near each base as a defender bot that engineers can build are actually leftovers to Zombot turrets from Garden Warfare 1. However, when it is upgraded to Tier 2, it becomes glitched out. It glitched out Tier 3. The textures of Gravedigger and Unused character and boss in Garden Warfare 1, there's a SWAT zombie, or as I called him last time, a swampy, in the textures, which is concept art in Garden Warfare 1, and was later remade into the foot soldier. This means that the textures were just taken from Garden Warfare 1 and moved over to this game for the test tube. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like, comment, and subscribe. And I guess I'll see you guys next time. See ya. First off is the fastest match icon. This is an icon that shows a burning clock which can be found in the game's files. In update 1.18.3, it was claimed that the fastest match icon was added. The update said, in multiplayer, if you can get a faster matchmaking at your rank by playing Plants vs. or Zombies, you'll see the fastest match icon. While this icon is still not in the game, it is possible this is the icon the update was referring to. To go along with this is the detonator icon from Bejeweled Stars. Next up is an unused card pack that has a nurse zombie, which may have been replaced by a sneezing zombie later on. Next, there is graphics for an unused buddy system, which may have had you and a friend fight against an opponent along with their friend. Also, maybe you can get two cards and a power-up. You can't still see the opponent's cards, but you can see your friend's cards. Kind of like Uno doubles. That's my thought. Next up is a Fire-like power-up. Maybe like a fireball. Internally, it is known as Fire Blast. 3-Nut has a much simpler design than the final game, looking more like Peanut from PvZ2. Next up is the early Terraformer 10,000, which has unused sprites and unused animations, which we will get to soon. And finally is an earlier version of Teleporter Zombie, which took more inspiration from Star Trek than the final design. While I will not be showing the full video, there are some unused plant overshoot animations that someone showed off. In the final game, overshoot animations were exclusive to zombies, so it's pretty interesting to see that it was planned for plants at some point. Whenever the animation is activated, the plants hurt themselves for whatever reason. Alright, so a lot of these unused cards are in the final game, but completely different than the final counterparts. Now with that out of the way, let's start. So just like many cards whose stats will change, so I'm going to do what I wanted to do in the Angry Go and Rio video, which is make this scroll instead of what happened there, which was not very good. Many cards had their names changed during development. Photosynthesizer was Gravitational Pool, Spikeweed Sector was Spikeweed, Marine Bean was Gilly Bean, Force Field was Invincible Castle, Blockbuster was Master Grave Blaster. Velociradish Hunter was Velociradish. Transfiguration was Trans-Fig-Duration. Vegetation Mutation was Sprouting Expansion and Planetary Proliferation. Planet of the Grapes was Tactical Position. Sappy Place was Sap. Cool Bean was Carbonite. Bog and Enlightenment was Digabog. Shrinking Violet was Shrinking Ultraviolet. Limaporidon with an O. Limaporidon with an A. Banana Bomb was Flying Banana Bomb. Dark Matter Dragon Fruit was Deep Space Dragon Fruit. Solar Winds was Zen Garden. Sunyursher was Sunshurmir. Venus Flytrap was Flytrap Land. Tankosaurus was Ankylosaurus Rider. Stompodon was Brain Stomper / Stegosaurus Rider. Mondo Bronto was Brontosaurus Rider. Duckstash was Barber as Barber. Nebula was Brain Silo. Quick Draw Conman was Forearmed Bandit or the Forearmed Zombie. Black Hole was Gravity Well. Headhunter was Jungle Drummer. Bad Moon Rising was Mass Morph. Planetary Gladiator was Planetary Guard. Raiding Raptor was Raptor Rider. Celestial Custodian was Space Janitor. Total Eclipse was Stinky Mist, and Cursed Gargolith was Stone Gargantuar. First off is an unused leveling system. The heroes were originally going to level up, and when they do level up, their design changes. In an unknown update, every single hero was going to be nerfed to level 1. There was also going to be disadvantages to this, like only being able to use 2 power-ups at a time, having an overall smaller deck size. Using an unused currency known as hero shards, you can actually level up your heroes and become more powerful over time. It was removed likely due to balancing issues. Next is the Game of Plants. Its name may have been a reference to the Game of Thrones series. It may have been scrapped an event that was going to happen during Galactic Gardens. According to the code of the game, the Yeti, Lunchbox, and Nibble were going to be superpower unknown hero. In the final game, they appear as Beastly cards that any Beastly hero can use. Crazy Dave and Dr. Zomboss may have been heroes, yet at the same time, the unused leveling system was considered. The reason I say this is because the code states that they could have been bought using Hero Shards currency. There are also sprites for them in the game that have not been ripped out and put on TCRF yet, also known as the Cutting Room 4. Also, there are 2 unused heroes known as Crime Biter and Professor Von Bats. This may have been introduced in the Game of Plants event, similar to how Beta Carotene and Huge Giganticus were introduced in the Galactic Gardens update. Next up, we got some unused text. Winter is coming. A quote from Game of Thrones, likely related to the unused Game of Plants. Summer is coming. The same quote from Game of Thrones, but summer, probably related to Game of Plants. Mika Lika, Hi Mika, Heiny Brains. This is actually a reference to Pee-wee's Playhouse, which is a children's show that aired in the late 80s. So that's what this phrase is from. I'm going with this was just a placeholder. Could have also been related to Game of Plants somehow. First off is an early Shamrocket animation, which has a completely different design. Next is an early Go Nuts animation, which has confetti included. Next is an early Death animation for Sunflower Seed. Next is an old Area 22 being played on the field with a different design. Next is Unexpected Gifts, back when it was called Unwanted Gifts. The original ability was to give the zombie players 4 fruitcakes, which is really powerful. Some people consider it the most powerful card in the game. And finally is early animations for Terraformer 10,000. First off, Cat Lady and Freddy Cat might have been linked, as they are in the same section of the files in the earlier versions. Next, tricks are internally known as bursts, and finally there were early names for heroes, cards, and also a couple of classes, so we're going to start off with the heroes. Captain Combustible is known as Scorchwood, Electric Boogaloo is known as Disco, Green Shadow is known as Penelope, and Mordecai is known as Witch, Rustball is known as Cyborg, the Smash is known as Gargantuar, Super Brains is known as CPT Brains, Chompzilla is known as Chomper, and Solar Flare is known as Sunflower. The reason that we know about these names are sometimes used for multiplayer names for users under the age of 13, or if the connection is too slow to use. So that's how you know that these are the internal names for the heroes. For the cards, Kite Flyer is Kite Scientist, Flourish is Bloom for 2, Three-Peter is known as Tree Peter, Swashbuckler is Pirate Captain. Trickster is Prankster Zombie. Headstone Carver is Gravestone Carver. Octopet is Zombie Octopus. Mixed Up Gravedigger is Gravedigger. Briar Rose is Rosethorn. Sour Grapes is Grape Shot. Valkyrie is Opera Zombie. Squirrel Herder is Squirrel Wrangler Zombie. Walrus Rider is known as Zombie Walrus / Walrus Rider. Telepathy is Epiphany. Zomba 1000, Dr. Zomba's Mega Gargantuar. Fishy Imp is Mermaid Imp. Loudmouth is known as Megaphone Imp. Morspore is Fungal Drop. Nursed Gargantuar is Dr. Gargantuar. Drone Engineer is Engineer Zombie. Vampire is Imp Vampire. Smashing Pumpkin is Pumpkin. And Firefighter is Fireman Zombie. Gargantuar's Feast is Garg Feed / Dinner for 3. Bungee Plumber is Bungee Jumper / Plumber. Sweet Potato is Sweet Potato. Poppin' Poppies is Poppies. Camel Crossing is Camel Plates. Abracadaver is Magician Zombie. Summoning is Necromancy. Bubble Up is Throw a Friend. Terrify is Scare Away. And Zombie King is Tomb Raiser. I don't know why Zombie King is Tomb Raiser, but apparently Zombie King is Tomb Raiser. And for classes, Crazy is known as Madcap, and Beastly is known as Hungry. And that's it. Anyways, guys, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed, like, comment, and subscribe. Anyways, I will see you guys next time. See you guys.